I never thought Minecraft could be terrifying. It's just a game. Blocky, colorful, harmless. At least that's what I told myself when I booted up a late-night survival world. My friends had logged off hours ago, and I was alone, exploring a cavern I stumbled upon by accident. But something about this cave was wrong. There were no mobs, no bats fluttering around, no spiders clinging to the walls. Just silence. A heavy, suffocating silence that seemed to press against my ears. The air was still, too still, almost like the game itself was holding its breath. I crept deeper into the cave, my footsteps echoing off the jagged stone walls. Then I noticed it, deep, gnarled scratch marks on the stone walls, like something massive had clawed its way through. Just random world generation, I muttered to myself, trying to shake off the feeling of unease creeping up my spine. But the laugh died in my throat when I rounded a corner and saw it, a tunnel stretching into darkness, perfectly straight and unnaturally smooth. The walls were polished, the edges sharp as though they'd been cut with a tool. The torchlight in my hand did little to pierce the growing dark ahead. I had played Minecraft long enough to know the game didn't generate tunnels like that. I should have left, but curiosity clawed at me, urging me to press on. I placed another torch on the ground and stepped forward, the light flickering as if hesitating. With every step, the air grew heavier. My heartbeat grew louder, as if it, too, was anticipating something. My footsteps echoed unnervingly off the cavern walls, as if the space itself was mocking me. I could hear the distant dripping of water from somewhere deep below. The sound was faint, almost imperceptible, but it was there. That's when I heard it, the faintest sound of a block breaking, followed by a scraping noise that sent a chill down my spine. I froze in my tracks, my heart racing. I was in single-player mode. There was no one else in the world. Slowly, I crept forward, my eyes scanning the darkness ahead. The sound grew louder, more deliberate. It wasn't like a player mining. No, this was different. It was slower, more methodical, almost like scraping. The kind of scraping that would happen if something large and jagged was moving against the walls. Suddenly, my screen flickered. For a split second, I saw something. A figure, tall and shadowy, with glowing white eyes. The brief glimpse was enough to freeze me in place. Herobrine, I whispered, the name tasting bitter in my mouth. But that didn't make sense. Herobrine wasn't real. He was just a myth, a story made up to scare players like me. Wasn't he? Panicking, I whipped around to run, but my path had changed. The torches I had placed, the ones marking my way, were gone. The tunnel behind me was now pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. I fumbled for my torches, but every time I tried to place one, it vanished as soon as the light touched the ground. The world around me was turning against me, and I was helpless. The sound of footsteps echoed from behind me, soft at first, then growing faster, louder, more deliberate. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end as the footsteps grew closer. I sprinted deeper into the tunnel, my heart pounding in my chest. But no matter how fast I ran, the footsteps kept pace. Then I saw it, a lone chest in the middle of the corridor, just sitting there, out of place. I hesitated. Every instinct screamed at me to turn back, to leave this place before it consumed me. But where could I go? The path was a twisting maze of dark corridors, and I was beginning to lose track of where I had been. Trembling, I stepped forward and opened the chest. Inside was a single book, its cover worn in age. It was titled Welcome Home. I clicked on the book, and the screen filled with text. You shouldn't have come here. Now you'll never leave. A cold shiver ran down my spine. Before I could even react, the chest slammed shut with a deafening thud. The world around me seemed to glitch, the screen flickering violently as the surroundings blurred and distorted. The next thing I knew, I was no longer in the cave. I was standing outside in the open air, but it wasn't the Minecraft world I knew. The trees were blackened, their leaves twisted and curled like they had been burnt. The sky was a dull, sickly red, casting everything in a grim, unholy glow. The ground was littered with bones, human bones, animal bones, scattered in a macabre display. My health bar was gone, replaced by something even more unnerving, a beating heart icon that pulsed with a slow, steady rhythm like it was counting down. I looked around, trying to make sense of my surroundings. The atmosphere was suffocating, the air thick with the scent of decay. And then I saw it. In the distance, standing completely still, was a figure, a shadowy shape, tall and thin, with glowing white eyes. It wasn't moving, but it was watching me. I froze. My heart thudded in my chest, the pulse in my icon slowing as dread gripped me. I tried to log out of the game, but the option was grayed out. My keyboard wasn't responding. It was as though the game had trapped me here, in this nightmare. I took a few shaky steps forward, hoping to put some distance between myself and the figure. But no matter how far I walked, it always seemed to be closer when I turned around. It was as if the distance between us was collapsing. Then I noticed something even worse. The heart icon wasn't just a health bar anymore. It was counting down, each pulse slower and weaker than the last. Every few seconds it beat a little slower, a little dimmer. I needed to move faster. The ground beneath me was beginning to crack, deep fissures opening up in the earth, exposing the black void below. It was pulling at my feet, tugging me down, as though the very world wanted to swallow me whole. I scrambled to craft something, anything, a weapon, a shield, a way out. But my inventory was empty. Everything had been wiped clean. Then in the distance I saw something, another chest, surrounded by glowing redstone torches. Desperation led me forward. I opened the chest, hoping for something to help me. Instead, I found a single item, a compass. The needle spun wildly, faster than I had ever seen it move. It didn't point to anything. It just spun in circles, erratic and disorienting. A message appeared on the screen. You're getting closer. Closer to what? I didn't want to know. But there was no time to think about it. The ground was crumbling beneath me. I had no choice but to run. The world around me continued to distort as I sprinted, the air growing colder, the whispers louder, echoing through the eerie silence. The trees twisted in unnatural shapes, their branches reaching for me like skeletal hands. The figure was no longer just behind me. It was everywhere. In the corner of my vision, I could see its glowing white eyes, always there, always watching. Finally, I reached the edge of the world. The land fell away into nothingness, replaced by a swirling black void. The compass in my hand glowed brightly, its needle pointing straight into the abyss. Another message appeared on the screen. Jump. I stood at the edge, staring into the darkness below. Behind me, the figure moved again, slowly but with purpose. Each step closer sent a wave of panic through me. My heart icon was nearly empty now. Each pulse was weaker, slower. With no choice left, I took a deep breath, closed my eyes, and jumped. I landed in a pitch-black chamber, lit only by glowing runes etched into the stone walls. The air was thick with an ancient energy, an aura of dread that seeped into my very bones. And there in the center of the chamber stood the figure. Its glowing white eyes blazed brighter than ever. I stood frozen, unable to move. My screen flickered, and the game seemed to stutter. Then another message appeared. Welcome to your end. Suddenly, the screen went black. The game crashed to desktop. I quickly tried to open the world again, but when I tried, it wasn't there. Instead, a new file had appeared on my desktop. The file name was simple, Stay Out. I haven't opened it yet, but every night since, I've heard faint block-breaking sounds coming from my computer, even when Minecraft isn't running. What do you think is inside that file? Should I open it, or is it better left untouched? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this story and want more spine-chilling tales, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tales of Chill. And if you have your own creepy or scary stories, I'd love to hear them. Message me on my Facebook page, also called Tales of Chill. You can find the link in the description. Stay tuned, stay safe, and remember, some worlds should never be explored.